Yeah?
Yeah!
Welcome everyone to episode 297 of the FMRX podcast.
I'm Jay.
And I am the brainless one, and you know it must be a big deal if the two most famous wrestling podcasters who never spent 1 second wrestling a match are together again.
Yeah!
Yeah? And I love these episodes. The episodes where the dynamic duo of duos works well together.
You know, there was a tag team called Dynamic Duo back in the day in World Class Championship Wrestling. Gentlemen Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez.
The GOAT, Gino Hernandez.
Rip and Rip.
Real quick, since
you know who taught Stone Cold Steve Austin how to wrestle? What? Chris Adams.
Yep.
Anyway, go ahead.
Since you mentioned Gino Hernandez real quick, I finally finished the Tales of the Territories.
Okay.
I enjoyed that more than I enjoyed Dark Side of the Ring. And I enjoyed Dark Side of the Ring. It was a great, I think both series were great. I love the stories. I just love stories, and I love wrestling and the history of it. So it was such a great thing. I would recommend it to anybody who hasn't watched it yet. I'm probably going to go watch it again, but A+ stuff.
Sweet. Yeah, I still have a few episodes left to go with that. Mm-hmm. I did watch the Ric Flair documentary on Peacock. I was going back and forth whether or not I would watch it. Mm-hmm. They literally don't mention TNA at all. And
I mean, kind of like when AJ Styles did not wrestle anywhere from 2002 to 2014.
Right. Yeah, but overall, the documentary itself was all right. It lacked in a few different places, but I learned a couple of extra things about Ric Flair. He did not get into the controversy about what the heck you call it, from Dark Side of the Ring last year, the plane ride from hell, and he also did not what the heck. Brain fart already, but
just remember, I'm the brainless one, and you're the brains of the outfit.
He definitely did not talk about the Black Scorpion.
Oh, jeez, he regrets that.
Oh yeah.
FMRX Hall of Fame shows Clash 13, Black Scorpion.
So this is what I was forgetting for a moment. Ric Flair did not bring up at all the controversy with him and Becky Lynch.
He did say, though, at this past 30th anniversary of Raw, he went up to Becky Lynch and he went up to Seth Rollins and apologized to Becky, shook Seth's hand and said, "I'm here to apologize to your wife. Let's just bury the hatchet." And I think that takes a lot for Ric Flair. I think he's trying to mend those fences with WWE because he needs money because he's Ric Flair and he has 97 ex-wives that he has to pay.
Sure.
But, it's just Rick trying to make money.
Sure. Yeah.
My biggest thing is I am tired of listening to Ric Flair. Like, why? Him, Vince Russo, and all those guys, there's just I'm going to make a top 10 list next time.
Okay.
Of the 10 people I am sick and tired of hearing their takes about professional wrestling, Vince Russo is definitely number one on there.
You know what? For a little bit of time, Jim Cornette was one of them for me because he would just always talk about the same thing, and I'm like, it's not the 1980s anymore.
Yeah.
But he finally I'm not going to say off that wagon, but he talks a little bit more strictly of what they're doing in the ring and not talking about, well, it's not like when I was coming in.
And that's the reason why I've enjoyed his podcast, because he's even said it. He goes, Sami Zayn is the best thing that's happening in WWE. This is a guy who didn't like, well, he likes Sami Zayn. He has his opinions about Sami Zayn.
Sure.
He hates Kevin Owens. That's a fact. But it's compelling television. So, and he talks about that, and he talks about, because even as much as him and Brian Last talk about how much they hate Tony Khan for certain things, there's guys in AEW that he speaks so highly of. He goes, well, this guy and this guy, because I listened to that deep dive he had for the AEW roster.
Yep.
And it's not like he said all 109 freaking dudes.
Factions.
Yeah. Shit, but
and yeah, I had a place that I was going to go, and I can't look at my brain's wiped out. Basically, what the heck you call it? We were helping our friend move. We're actually in his house right now.
Yes. He is at a he's on his way to a way station or a transfer station, whatever.
Yeah.
But so we're here. We just helped him move. I was gassed within 5 minutes of I first grabbed something and I was already gassed going up the third or 3 steps.
So anyway, that's why my brain's a little
We're a little
right now.
off and everything, but we'll get into this and everything.
So speaking of Sami Zayn, so there were a couple of things. So one thing out there is that Sami may not get a WWE title run specifically because of the Saudi deal that they have. This guy is the hottest thing going in the company. He just knocked it out of the frickin' park Monday night, and he knocked it out of the park last night. He's the hottest thing going, but because you've got a deal with the Saudi Arabian government to do 2 shows there every year, and because Sami is Syrian, it's not safe for him to go in the country, even though people so badly wanted him at that last show. But you know what? If I'm Sami Zayn, I'm not showing up to those either, and it sucks that his run may not happen
because of the Saudi Arabia.
Because of that. That's such crap.
This is why they need 2 separate champions. They never should have unified those titles. It was stupid to do that last year, and this is why I'm glad that Vince is gone. Because even if you split the titles, and let's say you put one on Cody Rhodes and you put one on Sami Zayn, you could just send Cody Rhodes as the WWE champion. You don't need the Universal Champion there.
Right.
And if you think about it, Saudi Arabia had an issue with women, and yet we finally have women wrestling. When we got women's championship matches that are happening at these shows and everything. So
sure.
It can be done. And this whole Saudi Arabia shit is really starting to irritate me, because if they don't pull the trigger on this, just like they should have done 9 years ago with Daniel Bryan, and hell, I mean even 4 years ago with Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
They all caught fire at the right time, and at least they did right by Kofi when he had his run 4 years ago. But Daniel Bryan should have won the Royal Rumble in 2014.
Rey Mysterio got booed.
Only time Rey Mysterio ever got booed in the WWE ring was the 2014 Royal Rumble, 1 year, before Curtis Axel and his greatness and all that stuff. But regardless, I don't want to see them make that same mistake twice, because we all know it. History repeats itself. It has a tendency of doing it. I could see them doing this again, and I'll tell you right now, I think people would be more pissed with what Sami Zayn's doing, and he doesn't get that, that golden moment for him. No disrespect to Cody.
Right.
Cody Rhodes deserves this win tonight if he gets it. That's the only real difference, is that it was Blutista that won 9 years ago and fucked everything up. If Cody wins, I don't care, before Sami Zayn went on this fucking run he's on, Cody Rhodes was the guy. He came back at WrestleMania. He had back-to-back excellent matches with Seth Rollins.
Franklin Rollins.
He was their guy. They see it. He sees it. He is the guy that I thought he was going to turn into finally. He is their golden boy. He is their franchise player. If he wins it tonight, it's not going to be anarchy if Sami Zayn doesn't win. That's, at least in my mind, because I think that the hardcore fans, the fans who have been there, like us, who have been there for a long time, I want to see Cody win the Rumble. I want to see Cody win the WWE Championship. I want that for Cody because he deserves it. He has busted his ass. He has proven his worth. It's his moment. It's either him, Sammy, and nobody else.
Or Rock or Stone Cold.
If Steve, and this is coming from my favorite wrestler being Steve Austin. If Steve Austin wins the Royal Rumble tonight, it is going to be underwhelming.
They are in Texas. I think that's one thing possibly going for that crazy idea. But beyond that, going back into Sami Zayn and his storyline specifically, at the end of Monday Night Raw, when Roman's like, all right, I don't want to see you until the Rumble, but I have one last test for you. What are your thoughts on what that test could be? I have a few ideas.
My first thought when that was brought up, I was like, all right, he's going to have Sammy help him take out Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble.
Are we going to look at an Eric Rowan situation where he tries to take him out pre-match?
No, because what's going to happen is somehow, some way, the referee's going to be incapacitated, and it's going to be Roman and Sammy and Kevin being the only ones in the ring. Paul's probably going to be somewhere out there screaming at the top of his lungs.
Possibly incapacitated as well.
Or he could be distracted by the Black Scorpion doing magic. It's one of the two.
You never know.
Somehow, some way, the Usos are going to be taken out. Somehow, some way, Solo's going to be taken out. And I think it's going to come to a point where Sami Zayn's going to have to choose between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. And that's going to be the defining moment tonight. And I know a lot of people are speculating that Sami. I could even go one further and say I wouldn't be surprised if tonight's the night where the Bloodline takes out Sami Zayn completely. Because if the championship match is before the Men's Royal Rumble, and I'd dollars to donuts, the Men's Royal Rumble is probably going to main event tonight.
Yeah.
And the Women's Royal Rumble is going to start the show, which is fine, don't care. And we don't have Sasha Banks to constantly roll out of the ring every 4 minutes and stay out there for 20.
Right.
But I think tonight is the chance where they have that match. If that happens and Sami Zayn gets his ass kicked tonight, that's how you justify him not being in the Rumble. Daniel Bryan losing to Bray Wyatt in a wrestling match before the Royal Rumble? No. It's not like he was taken out in a stretcher. If Roman beats him within an inch of his life, then he's not going to be in the Rumble and Cody's got to win it. And I think at that point, even if the fans are going to cheer, even if Sami Zayn's not up to 30, for the love of God, please, I'm begging you, Triple H. Rey Mysterio can come out any number between 1 and 29. Just not 30. Please, I don't ask for much.
Right.
But
one of the ideas I have is if Roman notices that Sami's going to be in the match at the end, and he tells him he has to eliminate himself. That was like one of the crazy ideas. Now, you can't predict that, going into it. So Roman might have a couple of ideas for this, but I think it'd be really interesting, like where Sami's one of the final four, and Roman says, "No, I'm not facing you. If you are in the Bloodline, we can't go against each other."
Get the fuck out.
Or if he tells him, like, you can't be in the Rumble match.
That could be it too. I'm just curious because I know 2 weeks ago on the podcast, I said Cody Rhodes of the Field. I said Cody. Everybody else said Cody. You're the only one I remember saying the Field.
And that's because I think The Rock will be there, despite all the smoke screens.
Yeah. And the fact is that 2 weeks later, I'm starting to feel like there's more of a chance. I would probably lean more towards the Field, and it's not even a shot at Cody. It's because I think that there's a lot of potential that could happen. If Cody wins the Rumble tonight, I'm not going to be mad. If Sami Zayn wins the Rumble tonight, I'm going to shit myself. If somehow, some way, Sheamus wins the Royal Rumble, I'll probably be the only person on planet Earth that's fucking celebrating for that one. Because I would probably work out more for that than fucking...
Careless man. Chris Brown is saying that he hears that the final four will be Austin Theory, Cody, Sami, and Seth Franklin Rollins.
I was going to say, if the final four is...
I mean, with no Brock Lesnar in there and Bobby Lashley, they're probably going to eliminate each other and just beat the hell out of each other to the back.
Either that or Brock's going to eliminate Bobby, and then Gunther's going to come in and toss Brock to kind of plant the seed for that. In case they don't want to do that at WrestleMania, which, please, I don't ask for much for WrestleMania. I just want Gunther and Brock to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
But for me, the interesting four finalists for me in the Rumble would be Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, The Rock, and Randy Orton.
I'd love to see that. If they happen to bring
Or
Stone
Rollins.
Cold and The Rock into this Rumble match, you know that they have to have a moment where they beat each other up and then they help each other out. I don't think we're going to get both. I think it's going to be either or, but I think there's like a 1% chance that we get both of them.
Okay.
I'm going to go that I'm going to go with like a 65% chance that we get one of them.
I will say this. I would even say it's even higher than 65. I think there's about an 80 to 90% chance that one of those two is in it. Because I agree. I could see them throwing these smoke screens out there to kind of like, okay, it's already been leaked that The Rock is going to be there. Everybody's already expecting him to be there because it's Hollywood and Roman's been champion for 137 years. But
Roman did that interview where he said, yep, getting ready for in the ring, it's different than getting ready with weights and this, that, and the other thing.
that would be one very interesting caveat. Because if Steve Austin wins, he already is the sole leader in Rumble wins with 3.
Did Orton tie him, or is Orton at 2?
Orton's at 2. Because they mentioned last night that Brock Lesnar would be the second person to be at 3 if he had won.
Okay.
Still love that, by the way. Hey, Bobby, you're in the Rumble? All right, see you tomorrow.
So
my
good.
God.
I mean, that's not parties over, Grandpa.
It's funny, too, because all these years, I have to mention this on the mind, and it's all these years of watching wrestling, I have witnessed probably a million run-ins, whether through the crowd or through the wherever run-in of some sort. I mean, hell, Randy Orton told us to shush before he RKO'd, I forget who it was.
A whole bunch of people.
It was a whole bunch of people at the Norfolk Scope. But, my God, was there ever a time where somebody looked less, like, out of place running through the crowd than a man bun wearing Brock Lesnar? Because all you see is just these massive shoulders and the freaking cowboy hat running through the crowd, and it's like, oh yeah, that's not Brock Lesnar or anything. That's just some dude from the 14th row that looks like he's gonna represent this world in the world battle of the universe.
Right.
The alpha male of our species.
Yeah, going against Mars, going against Andromeda.
Yeah, and I dare any of those galaxies to try to find somebody who beats Brock Lesnar too. He's not human. He's he's a beast. An ass-kicking beast.
Yeah.
But I just, there's so many different things. Brock Lesnar being in the Rumble adds an extra wrinkle to this. Because at any given time, if he's in that match, he could win.
Randy Orton at any given time, if he's in the match, could win.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of things going on. Let's talk about maybe a couple other people that are kind of smaller names, but would still be significant if they show up. Does Zack Ryder show up, and does he show up as Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona?
Woo, 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 you know it, bro. I just think that it's interesting that they have, announced 7-8 women for the Women's Royal Rumble and like 28 dudes were announced for the dudes, and it's like, not so much for that. The fact is, they were laughing about how Johnny Gargano wasn't in the Rumble and Candice LeRae is on Cornette's podcast. But you also got to remember, the women are somehow, some way going to have to come up with 30 people to wrestle tonight, and WWE has...
So Cardona specifically, I think him filing for all these trademarks lately, I'm going to say that, I think he's going to go back to the WWE, but he did an interview recently where he said he doesn't want to go back as Zack Ryder. Do you think possibly this could be a compromise that he made with WWE? Said, I'll come back as Zack Ryder, but I need all the trademarks so that whenever we sell stuff, I get the proceeds for it. Could that be a possible thing, or is he just screwing with people? I think he's going to be there.
I think he's going to be there, and it's not like when they did the thing with Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes' big thing was, I don't want to be Stardust, and then and now he's not Stardust, so I get that. But Cody Rhodes has more pull in this, but no disrespect to Matt Cardona at all. I always thought that he deserved better than what he got in WWE. I marked out when he won the Intercontinental Championship, I think at WrestleMania 33 or 32 or 33 he won it.
I thought it was 32. I thought it was in Dallas.
I think it was 32 in Dallas, and then he lost the next night to The Miz. But I think this is the time to do it. His stock is not going to be any higher than it is right now. They need to pull the trigger if he's going to be the one in there.
Right.
And if he's coming back as Zack Ryder, he's going to come back as Zack Ryder. So.
Yeah. So as far as the women's match, so people, the Bellas specifically for Monday Night Raw, were upset that there was not as much representation of female wrestlers on the show. The one, big match that they had planned, a cage match, which it takes a while to set up a cage, and they ended up doing like a beatdown instead of having the actual match because the bloodline thing ran long. So
I can tell you why.
on top of that, the fact that Tara just re-signed with Impact Wrestling, so that's one less person out there for them. Mickie James
Not
is
necessarily.
still. I mean, they let Mickie James do it a couple of years ago, but they made a big deal out of it. I don't think we're going to see that. I could be wrong.
I agree.
I could be wrong. I don't think we're going to see some of those, Impact wrestlers. I mean, personally, I would love to see Dr. Britt Baker show up in the Royal Rumble tonight. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, there's been lots of talk between Okada and Khan and other people about a World Cup of wrestling.
I got a crazy one for you.
Okay.
They sent Shinsuke Nakamura. I know that where Nakamura wrestled the GOAT Muda.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably not the same company and everything, but they did say that somebody was going to have to represent, or they tried to make a one-for-one thing with Carl Anderson and Nakamura and everything. What if instead of they're bringing in a male for the men's match, what if we see somebody like Kairi Sane return? I don't want to see
Sasha.
I don't want to see Mercedes. I'm sorry. I don't want to see Mercedes-Benz at all. Sorry. I don't.
I mean, if I were asking for a trade, I'd be like going, all right, well, you got those couple, and Okada, or I would, nostalgia's sake, Muda on his last go-around. I want to see him in WWE ring once. I know he had matches with Hogan when WWF toured Japan those years ago, but
if Muda came out for the Rumble tonight, I wouldn't be surprised. I know that they made a big deal because I want to say his last match was like a week or two ago.
Him and Darby
and Sting and all that shit. I'm sorry, F. Mark's Hall of Famer Sting, the icon. But
I've heard about Jay White. Although I think Jay White's contract is either up or almost up.
I think his contract did expire. I think it is expired.
So
and there's a lot of talk he's going to go to WWE and Triple H is going to pay an ungodly amount of money for him. I just want to see Tama Tonga and Lucalo, or
yeah, I think it's Lucalo.
Haku's two boys.
Yeah, and end up in the bloodline and see how that goes. I mean, I think this was an idea I pitched. I would love them to take the side of The Rock if we do get Rock versus Roman. So it's like going, he's the head of this part of the table, but guess what? The table's a long one, and the head of the other part of the table is The Rock.
Hold on. Question. Is Haku part of that same family, or is he part of a different... Is he like cousins, like fifth cousins to them, or not? I've always been
The
curious.
Rock refers to him as uncle.
Okay.
He bought him a truck.
Because let's be serious for 2 seconds, okay? The real tribal chief, the real head of the table, if he's part of the family, it's Haku. I dare somebody to go up to Haku and tell him that he's not the face of the frickin' head of the table in that family. I'm sorry. After all those stories I heard about Haku, I finally found all the stories about how badass Haku really is. He would fuck up Chuck Norris.
Wow, that is a bold statement.
He is the only person on planet Earth that I'm convinced could fuck up Chuck Norris.
Besides Brock Lesnar.
I think Brock Lesnar and Chuck Norris would have a very impressive match, and I think we're ending a draw. I think Haku would definitely fuck him. I'd like to see Haku fight like a full-grown rhinoceros, because I think he'd kill it too. But that's neither here nor there. My big thing is, who are they going to bring in for the women? Do we see Chelsea Green tonight?
I think so.
I think we see her, especially with all this talk with Matt Cardona, and they're just waiting for the time. They're waiting for the Royal Rumble. She's going to be there. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Billie Kay return tonight. I don't know if she's back permanently, but I wouldn't be surprised if she came in for an appearance. I mean, I still loved it when she was trying to do the thing with the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago, and of course it was the annoying blonde. What was it? Jillian Hall. Oh God. I just don't want it. Can I just list the people I don't want to see tonight? Would that be shorter?
So I'm guessing part of that list will be the Bella twins.
Of course, that's number 1 and 2. My man.
I think they're upset with WWE in
Because WWE brought them up to Philadelphia to be at the show, and then they just kept them at their hotel. So they did a live from their hotel room and talked about how unfortunate it was that they did a 3-hour show dedicated to the legends, and they basically shit all over the women. It's not like they didn't show Medusa or Alundra Blaze, whatever you want to call her, a whole bunch of times.
Right.
It's not that I understand that the time went over with the bloodline and everything. Maybe if Roman didn't take 45 minutes to get to the fucking ring, they would have been able to get that in there. And they did the best they could. It was either they were going to beat the shit out of Becky, which I thought was really, I liked the way they handled that. I thought that it was the right thing to do. Or you're going to have a 2-minute long steel cage match.
Right.
A beatdown makes more sense than a 2-minute
2-minute match.
And then, of course, you're sitting there complaining the next night on NXT, there was not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. 4 women's matches on NXT the next night. But we're only going to talk about the fact that the Bella Twins weren't on Monday. And the fact that Becky and Bayley didn't have the right amount of time to get their steel cage match in. No, let's not talk about the fact that and on top of that, let's talk about Ruby Soho and Toni Storm. That was such a... I've never seen a match between two people where there was no reaction from... Oh, God. Where there was no interaction from the crowd at any point. And that whole storyline they're doing, of course, like 90% of the storylines they're doing in AEW are fucking stupid, and they've been stupid for almost 4 years now. But this whole thing where they're doing Saraya turning heel, and now they're going to do an Outsiders thing. Why is Ruby Soho? Ruby Soho is not original. Right. And why is Britt Baker turning face? What the fuck is this? What are they doing over there? He's got to lay off the coke, Jay. He's got to lay off the coke. Yeah. But I just think it's funny that they're sitting there and they're clowning and they're all upset about this, and it's like, look at where WWE was with the women's division before. You know, the Bella Twins sit there and they're like, well, we're the reason for the evolution because we were wrestling 3-minute matches because nobody wanted to see you fucking wrestle for more than 3 minutes.
Mickie James and Beth Phoenix before you. Thank you.
Trish Stratus and Lita before them. And let's not talk about the fact that Alundra Blaze was way ahead of her time. She would have, if Medusa wrestled now with Charlotte Flair and Becky and Bayley and Asuka, tell me she wouldn't be a bigger deal in this day and age than as opposed to her.
Oh yeah, I mean she had like 3 opponents back then.
They just kept on. It was Bertha Faye. I don't remember why they did that fucking story.
Judy Martin
and Bull Nakano.
Right.
The only reason I remember,
and they would bring Moolah out of retirement.
Yeah, because Moolah.
She had the title
for
like 50 years.
Stop, Jay. She was never retired.
Right. She died and wrestled.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Just like Ric Flair was going to. But I think that there's a lot of sour grapes from two people. And I remember you and I have had this discussion many a time, whether it's on the podcast or outside of it. We talked about, in wrestling, what have you done that stood out that makes me like, oh yeah. Because like with Roddy Piper, it was the coconut to Snuka's head. For Shawn Michaels, it was super kicking Marty Jannetty, and then Jannetty ran through the barbershop window.
And WrestleMania ladder match.
In the ladder match, WrestleMania 10. The boy train. I mean, Shawn Michaels, yes. Shawn Michaels.
He's Mr. WrestleMania.
Shawn Michaels should be in that conversation with the Hulk Hogan's and all them. I don't know if I want to admit it, but yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, these people have these moments that really stood out. What match did the Bella Twins have that really stood out for you? Time's up. Nothing. I can't think of a match that stood out for me. The only thing they did in a wrestling ring that stood out for me were three things that really stood out for me. When they first started and they did that twin magic, where one of them would be getting their ass kicked in the match, roll out of the ring, and the other one would go in, and that worked all well and everything until Nikki Bella decided to get massive tits. Then it was Nikki Bella making me want to vomit the entire build-up for her and Cena versus The Miz and Maurice. If it wasn't for The Miz and Maurice, saved that whole fucking thing. Every time she said "my man" the way I wanted to puke. I wanted to jump out my window, and I tried finding bleach.
He's gonna puke.
And then the only other thing I could think of was when Brie Bella wasn't paying attention and kicked Liv Morgan in the face.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the time that the Bella twin accidentally had the boob show on TV.
But let's get mad about them not being on Raw 30. The only thing that those two women have done for WWE is be a star of two of their fucking reality shows, the Total Divas and Total Bellas. Otherwise, nobody would give a fuck about them. There.
Yeah.
I said it. I meant it. I'd say it again. So, sorry. That's just my 2 cents in that whole situation. I had to put it out there.
Yeah, I mean, my small thing with WWE was specifically that they actually did promote that the Bellas were going to be there.
Yes, we promoted Tatanka was going to be there. We didn't lose our minds over the only Native American who was supposed to show up at there. But he had a legitimate excuse. I'm convinced it was because Vince was back, but his nephew had a wrestling tournament that he wanted to support.
Right.
Like, he made it farther in the tournament. So I'm going to spend that time with my family. Okay, cool. All right.
All right. A text in from F and Mark's Hall of Famer Tim, who says, I could see the Bloodline members eliminating Sammy to teach him a lesson. Perhaps Solo doing it. I mean, Solo was going to do the Samoan Spike.
I just think this. I'll say this about tonight's Royal Rumble, Jay. I've never been to the point where I have no idea what's going to happen. And I think I said that last year.
It's freaking awesome.
It's been like this a couple times at least. I mean, nobody was expecting Shane McMahon to go in there and just absolutely obliterate everything last year. But I mean, I remember I couldn't tell you how many times I knew that the person who was going to win the Royal Rumble was going to win the Royal Rumble. 2008, I believe, is the one that sticks out the most to me when Randy Orton won, where they did the whole package and then they did the video package strictly for Randy. And I'm like, yeah, he's winning.
Right.
If I could call Las Vegas and put in a bet, I would do it right now.
Right.
But the fact is, Cody's the heavy favorite tonight, but he's not a guarantee. There's a bunch of people they could bring into the men's, and the fact that the surprises will probably be a bigger deal than whoever wins the Rumble. But
Right.
for the women's one, there's no clear-cut favorite for the women's one. I can make a compelling argument for a bunch of them.
Sure.
Because you can have, Rhea Ripley's white hot right now. Liv Morgan winning and setting up for the match with her and Charlotte. You want to talk about long-term storytelling?
Sure.
That would be a perfect thing. And Asuka, the new persona of Asuka, if it comes, because that's coming out tonight. I'll bet on that. That's almost my lock. That
Okay.
whatever Asuka version of Asuka we get is going to be that Asuka. And she can win the Rumble. She really can. There's a lot of women that can win it. Hell, you can even make a case for even something like Chelsea Green if they really wanted to.
Yeah, if they wanted to put the rocket. The rocket fuel.
Hell, Cora Jade could come up from NXT and win it. And she can go challenge Roxanne. Roxanne!
I'm throwing this out there. I don't think it'll happen. Do you think, just maybe, Mandy Rose returns?
No.
I don't think so either, but, you know, Bryan Danielson, years ago, was fired from WWE for a stupid reason.
Let's be serious. I think people love Bryan Danielson more than they love Mandy. And it's not
Sure.
It's because it's Bryan Danielson.
But they fired him, and then he
Timmy?
just,
What's up, Timmy?
Reappeared a couple of months later.
Right before SummerSlam.
Right
At
before
SummerSlam
SummerSlam.
2010.
Yes, that
where
when Cena buried
the Nexus.
yes. So
I agree with that.
I don't put it beyond the realm of possibilities, specifically because they only, mentioned 8 people being in it. I don't think Natty's quite ready to be back either. I think she's got some more road on the rehab, back to come back from injury. So
the best part about the women's match is going to be all the people who get a return, or because the legends who haven't been in the Royal Rumble yet are going to be in the Royal Rumble. There's probably a really good chance Molly Holly's going to be in it. And the fact that they had Medusa on Raw this week, I wouldn't be surprised if she was in the Rumble tonight.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised. No fucking way. Hell, that would be a fucking swerve that nobody would see it. I think that would be great. Could you imagine Medusa or Alundra Blaze, whatever she's gonna call herself, and like Charlotte? I mean, that's one of those things. I say what I say about Charlotte because of the way they book her.
Yeah.
But my God, Charlotte versus Alundra Blaze, they're two of the best that ever did it, and I think they would have probably the best match if you wanted to do like an old school versus a now if they both were in their primes.
Right.
I think that's the perfect opponent for each other. But I think with that, we have no idea what this fucking pitch black match is. Everybody's been making compelling arguments for both LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. Let me tell you something. Let me talk to you.
Yeah!
If you ain't talking about LA Knight, you ain't talking. Yeah!
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 I hope you all got to see the reel that was posted earlier today. It is one of my, I feel it's a crowning achievement. It was an idea that popped into my brain. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this needs to happen. So I hope you checked it out. I hope you liked it.
I laughed my ass off. My favorite part was you sent the text and said, I did do a new reel. I don't think I've ever fired up Facebook faster in my life. Especially after the one you did the other day where you did the pictures with the top 10 with Duke Drosy, and I laughed so hard when I saw Duke Drosy. Because I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, oh God, this could be even better because you know what? The big cat's on this list.
He is on the list.
And the Black Scorpion.
Yes.
I popped for both of them. I popped for the whole thing. I mean, let's be serious, but...
To be fair.
But
you know what? I did mention Britt Baker before. She actually is injured right now, and we don't know what her injury is. So possibilities of her showing up there were already slim to none, and I think, with the injury, she's not going to be there.
But to go to the whole Mandy roasting real quick, I think we have a better chance of seeing The Rock and Austin in the Rumble tonight than we do to see Mandy roast. If you want to know my opinion on Mandy.
Sure.
She's more likely to come back than Mercedes Moné, though.
Sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, Brian Cage is expected to be a free agent soon, and they've been pushing him on AEW a bit more lately, and it feels like one of those last gasp efforts from Tony Khan to be like, yeah, see, I'm treating you well, and then like if he signs a new contract, he's going to be put back down on the card.
Well, he's the Trios champions, I think, for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I think he's part of the Trios champions for Ring of Honor, but
in the second most bizarre combination of people in a stable after whatever the hell they're doing with Preston Vance and Rush. No, it's Rush.
Right.
He's got a weird face, by the way.
Do you think Brian Cage stays with AEW in Ring of Honor, or do you think he ends up trying WWE? I think he's more of an Impact guy myself.
I was going to say, I think he's going to end up back in Impact because if he was going to be WWE by now, he would have been WWE by now.
If Vince was in charge, he might go to WWE.
He would have been. But if I remember from the what the hell was his name? The wrestler they did the Dark Side of the Ring on he worked in WCW, and then they did the shit with him and the Undertaker. Do you really want to hurt me? I
can't remember.
Oh my God! But that was one of his favorite wrestlers, Chris Kanyon.
Oh yeah, Kanyon.
The Kanyon story.
Kanyon.
And he was really close to Kanyon. And I tell you, between him and the Bucks, I was like, none of those guys are going to WWE. That was such a fucked up thing that they did to that poor dude. I'm sorry, that was. But regardless. But I could see Brian Cage as more Impact than anything else.
Chris Brown thinking he'll be in WWE by March.
Okay.
Hey, if they do that, they could try to set up something for him for WrestleMania, and he could do some. If you want to debut him at WrestleMania, that's not terrible.
Brian Cage with Gable and Otis.
I mean, interesting pairing.
So, do you think it's too soon to see R-Truth tonight?
He says that he thinks he's going to be. He was recovering faster than he had believed. I don't know. I think it's a little early for that.
Yeah?
Yeah! Yeah!
Here. Are you going to varner us in this situation? Will you come in late and then bring the podcast up to that next level? I don't know. I mean, Brian Cage is just a very interesting individual. I enjoyed his work when he was in Lucha Underground. When I first saw him, I said, bro, he looks just like what WWE's looking for. But I could see him going. I think Impact is more likely Because I don't think his AEW run was any good, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, fuck you.
Right.
I'm doing this. But
So one other name out there that a member, Bobby Lashley, mentioned that he wants to be in the Rumble match is Chris Masters, the Masterpiece.
The Masterpiece.
They did, the angle of like who
the Master Lock, yeah.
Yeah, and Bobby broke
Lashley
out
was
of
the
it.
first one to break out of the mask. I remember that.
But Bobby said he would like to have another go-around with Chris Masters. What do you think about the Masterpiece possibly appearing?
It's funny because there's not a human being on planet Earth who has been pandering to WWE to get a shot back. I mean, they showed a video of him. He was pulling up next to a WWE truck, and he points the video on it. Take me with you.
Even more than the Ryback?
Even probably a little bit more right now. Recently, he's been doing stuff like that. He did an independent show where he came out to his old theme song that he had in WWE. But he did tweet out recently that he had reached out to WWE. F. Marks Hall of Famer El Jefe in the building of his own building.
Yeah, this is my house now.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my house.
Easy, Roman.
Dirt.
But fuck, I lost my train of thought.
Masterpiece.
Anyway, the
Oh,
Masterpiece.
I'm sorry, but he did tweet out. He said that I reached out to WWE, told him that if they named me for a Rumble, I would be in it. And then he's like, I haven't heard anything back, so I'll tell you, if anybody expecting me at the Rumble tonight or on Saturday, I'm not going to be there. So
Yeah.
I would love to see it because I was always a fan of Chris Masters, and ironically, oh god, I'm really going to age myself here. When MySpace was a thing, I was actually friends with Chris Masters on MySpace. And he goes, thanks for the friend request, Rob, or Bob, whatever the hell it was. He goes, now your MySpace page is a masterpiece. And I'm like, I fucking love this guy.
Nice.
See, that's the
Nice.
idea to see a social media before everyone knew how to use it, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't talk about MySpace and how I put so much shit on my MySpace page that I crashed my roommate's computer.
It's a good thing MySpace deleted everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Except for Tom.
Who loves Tom?
Tom's the goat.
All right. Tim's asking, who do we think the surprises are going to be tonight? One other name out there I heard was RVD.
Rod.
Do
He's
you-
Mark's Hall of Famer.
No,
he's on the t-shirt though.
Yes.
He's on the t-shirt.
That's because the brandless one, oh my god, 10 years ago. Oh god. I'm at the whole effing show in Massachusetts, and I wish I brought weed with me. But it's fine.
Do you think we will see one Rob Van Dam tonight?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
And I'll tell you right now, especially since you did remind me that it's going to be in Texas, it makes so much sense now for Cody to win.
He's from Texas.
Yes.
No, he's from Georgia, but
But
his
his
dad's
from Texas.
Yeah.
just a son of a
So-
pro from Texas.
Let's do this the diplomatic way. Let's each pick one person for each of the women's and the men's rumbles that we can see as a surprise. For me, I think for the women, I think Chelsea Green is the most likeliest person to be a surprise. And for the men, I think it's going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. I really do. I don't know. I got this weird feeling that
If it is Stone Cold Steve Austin, he needs to win.
And
That's
then
the
go
only
to
way I'll be happy with
Raven.
it.
The only thing is like, this is just like what they used to do years ago with Cena and Randy Orton, where Cena would get into a feud with somebody leading up to WrestleMania, and somehow, some way, the blow off would happen between that person and Randy Orton instead.
Right.
And I'm like, they did it with Kane. I still can't believe Kane beat fucking Orton in that. And that was actually more pisses me off more than Jericho losing the Fandango. That made no
Nicole
fucking
loves
sense.
him.
Oh god.
No.
No. It's Fandango. Unique entrance, not a terrible in-ring performer. He did the best with what he could, but a dancing dude's not going to get over in this day and age, or any day and age. It's just not the case.
Hey.
Hey.
Disco Inferno.
Alex Wright.
Whoa! You're going to throw the Disco Inferno out at me?
Yeah.
One of the only two wrestlers on planet Earth who has drawn less money than Jeff Jarrett.
Yes.
Yeah.
No!
Glenn Disco.
Jeff Jarrett has made $20 in his life. The Disco Inferno owes people $20.
Like Virgil.
Yeah. No, don't ever say the Disco Inferno. Inferno. He's on that list too. With Vince Russo and Ric Flair are people I don't want to hear make any kind of a take on wrestling.
Okay.
But those are my two for tonight.
Hey, Chris Brown, Fandango is still doing stuff. There is a show up, I think in Maine, that I saw Scotty Tuhati post about. Scotty Tuhati will be on it, and Fandango is going to be on the show, so he's not legit done.
They're wrestling each other, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're both, I think they're the only two wrestlers who were born in Maine. Or something like that. They're like the only two Maine-born wrestlers active, or some shit like that. I think that's why it's kind of funny that they're wrestling each other in Maine.
Right.
In Maine.
So Tim's saying he's going with Jay White.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, there's been rumors about Jay White over the last few weeks that he is done with Japan and he's ready to make a step over to North America, and what better way to do that at the Royal Rumble?
And I'm still adamant that I think Triple H is going to throw every fucking piece of cash he can at him to get him to sign. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to go with The Rock just because I think
you're only smoking mirrors.
I think that's all they've been doing. They're like, oh, nope, he's not in ring shape. It's like, he's got 3 months.
He's The Rock.
He's got 3 months. And oh, by the way, doing something like the Royal Rumble match is not like doing a regular match.
Correct.
He doesn't need to be like taking 5 million bumps. I mean, you just have to take a whole bunch of punches and possibly get thrown out of the ring.
It always makes me think of when Cornette talks about the gimmick battle royal who was in a WrestleMania 17, and his only plan that he had was he went to Bruce Pritchard and said, let's just beat the shit out of each other in the corner.
And then go under the ring.
Yeah. And then use my racket.
Well, I mean, the dude had already
it's-
torn his ACL from the scaffold.
Yeah, and it's just, honest to goodness, The Rock was never a great in-ring performer anyway. It's not like we're
He was
expecting.
solid.
He was all right.
I wouldn't call him.
He was.
He wasn't.
He knew the crowd. He knew the crowd.
He knew the
He
crowd.
knew the crowd, and he knew what the crowd wanted to see.
I'm not going to discount what The Rock means to professional wrestling because, honest to goodness, at the end of the day, I've never met anybody more charismatic in the business than The Rock. But in wrestling ability, we're talking about he was just a little bit better of what Hulk Hogan was told to be. I'm convinced that's what it was with The Rock, where he was a little bit more gimmicky than it was in a wrestling match, like an actual wrestling match. But, I mean, not like it was Steve Austin, because Steve Austin, all he had to do was go in there, stomp a mud hole on somebody, hit him with a stunner, and everybody went home happy.
So you're saying that you think The Rock is more charismatic than Kona Reeves?
Oh my God. Not Kona Reeves.
Jay, my phone is right there, and if I throw it against the wall, the podcast is over. And I haven't done my good, bad, and brainless yet.
All right. So you have The Rock. Who'd you have a woman?
For a woman, I mean, there's so many to possibly choose from. I'm going to go with Trish the Dish, Trish Stratus, returning to wrestling. You know, it was interesting that, like, she wasn't on Raw, and maybe that's part of the thing. Like, okay, we're not going to have her on Raw, so people aren't, that's not top of mind for them. So I'm going to say Trish Stratus, and I think she's going to be one of the final four.
Okay, I can see that.
For me, I'm gonna do the woman first.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain my logic.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really out of left field, but
If you haven't seen her in a long time,
Yeah.
Miss April Brooks.
Hey, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's just been a while, and you know what?
It's been a while.
It's been a while, and you know
Could you imagine?
the pop she would give.
Oh my God! Not only just a pop, but you know that if she's in the Rumble tonight, that's what everybody's gonna think. Is gonna
Yeah,
happen.
people are gonna think Phil's at the airport.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, Robert O'Neill tells everybody.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
My God, I'm waiting for it today. I haven't gone.
My God, I just got this picture from
my
the
friend
San Antonio Elks.
San Antonio.
It's every time there's a big event.
Nice.
Oh my God, that dude's so funny. Check him out. He has his own he has his podcast. He does Late Night Grin, I believe it's
Yeah,
called.
yep.
Yeah, hilarious on Twitter.
Dude's fucking funny as shit.
I mean, he every bit. If you do a bit, okay, I'm gonna follow you. If you do multiple bits, I'm gonna love you. So, and then for the men, well, I did split like AJ's just been gone for a while, and you know what? Maybe she caught the bug again. Who knows? I mean, like, I'm really just taking a shot in the dark here, but
No, that's fine.
And with AJ, I know she has some like physical issues,
Sure.
which is part of why she hasn't like come back to wrestling. But like something like the Royal Rumble is not like a heavy lift.
no, you could easily protect somebody in the Royal Rumble.
Yes. I mean, just ask Mercedes Moné about what it's like to survive in the Rumble for fucking 3.5 hours. All you have to do is take 2 bumps, roll out of the ring, and stay there for 12 minutes.
The Miz is also good at that.
Yeah.
He's a goat.
He's actually like the best at that. And for the men, I'm going Hollywood, but it ain't Dwayne. It's not Dwayne Rock. It's Dave the Destroyer.
Hold on. Are you telling me right now, FMR's Hall of Famer El Jefe,
Yeah.
that your surprise entrant for the Royal Rumble, where they could repeat history from 9 years ago,
Yes.
would be the person who caused all the chaos 9 years ago?
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Yep.
I fucking love it.
Think about it. Dave, he's a bigger star now than he was 9 years ago.
Agreed.
He's a better actor than Dwayne, that's for fucking sure.
It's because he's a smarter actor.
He's a good actor.
I'm not taking that away from
And
him.
he's got Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is coming out this year. So why the fuck not? The lead up to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 goes back to wrestling.
The only drawback that I can see of having Bautista or Blutista, or whatever you want to call him, it's been an argument for about a decade.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be people who've been watching for as long as we have. They're gonna be like, oh no, not again. This is just like 9 years ago.
See, no, it's not though. I mean, it's completely different. They were trying to. It felt forced 9 years ago. Now, when Batista came back, it'd be awesome. You know?
Sean, no joke.
You say
My
hacksaw?
coworker saw him in the airport on her way down to the Rumble and asked him, you know, if he's
If
going
he
to
just
win
took out the
again,
trash.
and he said, I always pack my trunks. I mean, the dude legit beat cancer twice, and he just took down an intruder in his house.
And he had a gun and he didn't even have to use
You have to
it.
go on Tucker. Great. Anyway.
I did watch that just because it was Hacksaw.
It was Hacksaw.
I had to. I was like, oh my
Wrestling.
god.
Yeah,
Oh, it's,
yeah.
it's
I can
Hacksaw.
swallow that, but
Be an interesting tag team too.
but yeah, that's Hacksaw the Jim Duggan.
I've been an adamant. You can definitely confirm this. I've been an adamant that they should really treat the Royal Rumble like they treat the Masters in golf, where any former winner of the Royal Rumble, if they're still alive and they're still physically capable of doing it, they should be allowed in the Rumble every year, no matter what. So guys like Hulk Hogan, I mean, obviously not really now, or Hacksaw Jim Duggan, did the Rock win the Rumble?
Rock's on the Rumble.
Rock, Steve Austin, obviously Randy Orton because he's
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart,
Lex
Undertaker.
Luger, but Lex Luger, no.
yeah, The Undertaker, not Chris Jericho.
Not Chris Jericho's kid.
But I've always been a big proponent of that. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan coming out would be awesome. I always love it because I think of the Royal Rumble. I forget which one. I think it was the one Cena came back from and won, surprisingly, as number 30. When it was the scene where they had Snuka and Piper in the ring and they were just slapping the shit out of them, even though they're like old as shit. But just seeing CM Punk's face, because he's like, these are the guys I grew up, and like you knew he loved that shit. So
Yeah.
I love the Royal Rumble. It's my favorite match of the year, and I am so excited for tonight.
Speaking of Hulk Hogan, though, there was a couple of things.
Oh, I can't wait.
I think it was
Kurt Angle.
who came out and said that Hulk Hogan actually, with all the back surgeries, he can't really feel his legs anymore.
Yeah, that's not really how that works, though. He's still walking on Raw.
Hold on. Is this Kurt Angle hearing this from Hulk Hogan's doctors, or did Hulk Hogan tell Kurt Angle?
It might have been
It's
Hulk
probably Hulk
Hogan.
Hogan.
If it was Hulk Hogan telling Kurt Angle, I don't fucking believe him. The only thing I believe
you
about
know-
Hogan, he's going into Scientology.
Hulk Hogan is going to get healed by Scientology, and also he did accidentally send out a tweet this week
Help, brother, about toilet paper.
where
I was like, no, I don't think I will.
that is better than the Silverdome thing.
Jay, I have a...
I was just like, I mean, as big as the WrestleMania audience is, the Twitter audience is even bigger and more savage. When I saw that, I was like,
I saw the memes and I'm like, oh boy.
God, that was so funny. Like, well, the first thing he tweeted was just help. I was like, uh-oh. He's tweeting like me. There's a problem here. And then...
I'm like, wait, the Indians aren't out, the Guardians aren't out.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what's going on? And then he's like, and then he deleted that one. He's like, help, I ran out of toilet paper, brother. So he tweeted this twice. Not only was it just, I accidentally tweeted something one time, it was twice.
and you know that he was doing it from the can.
Yeah.
You know, I have this sneaking suspicion that our former president, when he was doing his tweets, was like sitting
Taking a shit? Yeah, of course he was. He'd get up at 6 in the morning, start firing them off on the can for an hour.
That's my belief. Anyway, Hulk Hogan, thank you for the joy you brought into my life this week. I sat there for like 5 minutes. I mean, it wasn't quite like Great Gatsby level laughter or Z-Man laughter, but I was like, brother. Hey, brother.
I have, and it's funny that you mentioned Hulk Hogan because I have a crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theory about Hulk Hogan from Monday.
Okay.
I'm convinced that when Hulk Hogan came out on Monday to open up the show,
Brother,
they gave him a microphone that was funky because they were afraid that he was going to call the Wells Fargo Center the Link,
The Spectrum.
or they were going to call the Spectrum,
Would it be after him?
or the Hammerstein Ballroom.
wait, is that where he went against Rocky?
Lights out, meatball.
I went against Rocky Balboa in the Spectrum, brother.
He did wrestle Balboa in the Spectrum.
It probably would have to be the Spectrum, right? Because that was
Rocky
70s.
3, that was Rocky 3, that was 1982, baby.
Thank you for mentioning Rocky 3 because I listened to the Rocky 4 soundtrack and LA Knight's entrance on my way to here to help move.
I love you.
Greatest soundtrack ever.
It is.
Me too.
On a separate note, I know the Brainless One put this out there, I believe it was on Facebook, but we got confirmation when we got the cover of 2K23 where there was nothing on there.
I really thought it was going to be Cody. I really did.
No,
Yeah,
but
they made a big deal about his return to the game, but I mean,
I'm sure that they're going to reenact that whole scene from WrestleMania 38 last year when he returned and everything. That's going to be like the road to WrestleMania. The roads to WrestleMania.
I hope that this year at WrestleMania, when he comes out, if he possibly goes against Roman, I want Homelander to be with him.
Oh, he's got to
it's
come
Cody
out.
Homelander, man.
He's going to come out with the 7.
He should come out with the 7 in the deep with his gills.
Oh my God, please.
Oh God, please no. As long as they bring back his brother and he could be the what the hell is it, the soldier?
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy.
Just so his brother could look at him when he's dressed up as Star. You're a fucking disappointment.
Yeah, I thought it was great the way that they revealed it, where there was nobody on the cover and like
It was
then
Cena
Cena.
fucking posted it. I was like, you're the goat, Cena. I love you now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So speaking of things that kind of were pushing forward to Royal Rumble this week, we had a freaking incredible segment with LA Knight, which led into Jeff's favorite version of The Undertaker and led into like Bray Wyatt. Thoughts on that segment?
Oh.
My first thought. If you ain't talking about LA Knight, you ain't talking. Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah. I love it. I'll tell you right now. I have the utmost respect now for Sean Ricker, Eli Drake, whatever the hell you want to call him.
Yeah!
He went from whatever you want to call Max Dupree, that abomination. And in the last 3 months, he went from being a laughingstock and a joke to being, he's feuding with Bray Wyatt. He went from being a guy who leads male models to having a moment with The Undertaker. And then we find out that he actually had Paul Bearer as a manager at one point.
He did, yeah. That's the crazy connection right there.
There's a lot, I mean, that's just
There's a
crazy.
lot going on there.
He's gonna have, I'm telling you, I know he's 40, he's gonna win Money in the Bank.
Mhm.
He's gonna be WWE.
No,
champion.
no,
He's-
I
he's
agree.
so
I mean,
good.
he's over right now.
I've never. He's just like. He's so good.
I
on
mean,
the mic.
yeah. See, here's the thing. Like, we can
Yeah!
get past that shitty name now because
LA Knight's
he's so
so
good at it. He got himself over even with that shit name. Like, that's
Right.
awesome.
But that would also mean that there was once a New York Cadet, or whatever the joke.
Yeah, I saw that. So
But that whole segment was just.
I mean, first of all, you got. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
But just think of the South Park episode. So the Undertaker biker version, Kid Rock blasting in the arena, like this is my childhood right here, man. Like you guys had Dead Man die Undertaker. I had so I mean,
Or American Badass.
I'm just like, oh my god, this is amazing. And he gets in the ring, and then Bray Wyatt shows up. Or wait,
Yeah.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt
So
shows
the
up.
whole idea
Yeah.
was LA Knight calling out like
Bray Wyatt.
anybody,
Anybody.
any
Legend,
of
any
the
legends.
legends who had the stones
To come
and
to
think that they could get some of LA Knight.
Yeah.
And LA Knight tried to still look badass while also playing the chicken shit
Yeah, he's
heel.
like,
It would
Yeah, and then Bray Wyatt comes out. Undertaker says something to him, probably like a passing of the torch kind of a moment.
That's what
I
everyone's
think.
thinking.
I mean, like, I guess Bray Wyatt's kind of the same thing as the Undertaker, but he really isn't. So
He could be
I mean,
if they properly booked him correctly.
the problem with Bray Wyatt is that every gimmick he ever has starts really awesome, but they don't know what the fuck to do with it.
He's more talented. I think he's more
To
talented.
To be fair, there was a time with the Undertaker too, where he was just the dead guy,
Right.
and like he didn't talk much, and he just like no sold everything, and he was a zombie.
The Undertaker is the greatest gimmick of all time. That was beautiful because he was a dead man. He would get his ass kicked and he would just run. He killed that.
But he did that for like 7 or 8 years
Yeah.
before he finally like
For
really evolved it. Before he got on the
for ministry.
Well, I mean, actually, it was before that because it was Hulk Hogan on the Tuesday in Texas that fucked everything up for the Undertaker.
But Undertaker was that same character for quite a while,
Yeah.
and you know you gotta evolve. Undertaker knew that, and I think Bray has done his evolution a little bit like faster as far as like timeline goes, but because of how fast people need things to change, it seems like it's slow. I wish he would have more matches. I wish that like we'd see a bit more than sometimes aimless promos.
Right. Countless.
But at the end of the day, I have more moments I remember from Bray Wyatt than just about everybody that's on the roster right now that's been there, you know, for the last 10 years.
First thing comes to mind is that moment where it was the Wyatt family and the Shield when they had that first stare down. How awesome was that?
Yeah, and they were saying this is awesome before they even said anything,
When
did anything.
he won the WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber, I lost my fucking mind. I was so happy for him. I mean, him and Roman, when Roman was still the big dog, they had a really, really good feud. They really did.
Yeah.
They brought the best out of each other, and I thought they had really great chemistry.
Yeah.
And just the thing with Bray Wyatt is he's very, very good on the microphone. He gets his microphone skills from his grandfather. It's just that I wish he had gotten his wrestling skills from his dad.
Maybe he didn't pay his taxes.
His dad taxed him on his allowance.
I think so.
I super enjoyed the segment with IRS and JBL. They're like, and who was with JBL? I can't remember right now.
Ron Simmons.
Not Ron Simmons.
No, your favorite.
Bum-ass Corbin.
Oh, that's right, Lucky Corbin, and more like Fucky Corbin. Anyway, so he comes in, he's like, "You gotta pay your taxes." I'm like, "That's not how taxes work." It was enjoyable. I get it.
You know what? It's better than the segment when they had the fake Bill Clinton all those years ago.
Oh my god.
What was that WrestleMania 11? Was that 11?
No, it wasn't 11.
No, he would remember that because he.
No, I was there for that. Was not there. I remember everything from WrestleMania 11. He wasn't there.
But
Nick Turturro was there though.
That was terrible. Hey, you got Pamela Anderson
And Jen McCarthy. But I also got Kevin Nash and I'm sorry, Roddy Piper of all people ruined what could have been the best match of the night. Instead, I have to. And what did I tell you about WrestleMania 11? What's the one match I always forget about WrestleMania 11? The Intercontinental title match between Jeff Jarrett and Razor Ramon.
Because it's Jeff Jarrett.
Do you know who was in the corner for Jeff Jarrett for that match?
Road Dogg?
Oh, you didn't know? And that
Yo,
next
what?
feud, when he was still the 1, 2, 3 kid, was in Razor Ramon's corner. It is the one match I always forget, no question, everything about WrestleMania 11. I have to rewatch my. Oh fuck, that's right, they did wrestle.
Oh, I didn't know.
But yeah, overall, I mean, that segment, like, where, Bray ends up kind of cornering LA, and it's between him and The Undertaker, and Undertaker ends up, choking him out and then allowing Bray to do Sister Abigail.
They think that's the moment where the torch was passed.
And then when Undertaker said that stuff to Bray in his ear, I mean, he did an interview that was out of character, and he's like, I'm going to go to my grave with what he told me, but it was something that only I could understand.
Dude. And then Undertaker tried to leave, he couldn't start the bike. The guy, like, there was a guy there, like, go do this.
I mean, the last time we had seen The Undertaker in a match,
He
rode off on the bike at the end.
He went off on the sunset.
But
Now he has his retiree Harley he can ride all the time.
Yep.
I don't care. Every time he's there, I'm gonna be glued to the television.
I mean, yes, it's the Undertaker. It's like
he's Rushmore for me.
there are people like if Mick Foley's on TV, I'm watching. If Rock's on TV, if Stone Cold's on TV, I'm
Especially
watching.
Steve Austin.
Especially Steve Austin.
He's
the most important professional wrestler who ever lived.
And ironically, I still have one guy in my Rushmore still an active competitor. The Ocho.
The age, I mean, he's on my Rushmore too. He's fucking.
Yeah.
He should be on a lot of people's
Yeah, he's incredible.
So with Raw, specifically that first hour, it was commercial free. It was the largest audience they had gotten since like February of 2020. Mm-hmm. So as much as the Bella Twins were bitching about not being on the show, they had a 57% increase in audience.
And I'll tell you why it was, because Sami Zayn was in the opening segment.
Yeah, that segment was.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Dude, Sami Zayn, he's there, man.
Yeah.
Like, they can't sell the fucking Saudis. They just can't.
Yeah, that would be bad.
All right, anything else you want to cover?
Couple things. There was one thing specifically on SmackDown last night that I was just like, the Banger Brothers are no more because they finally realized, like, oh, by the way, if you search Banger Brothers, it's going to take you Raw Triple X, Banger Brothers. I mean, what's going on? What is going on here?
Dude, I can't believe, like, no one's... Oh my God.
Slapjack? They let Slapjack go for how long?
Mace.
Oh my God.
But specifically, because they want to get rid of the Banger Brothers as, like, at least a name, they had them in a tag team tournament to decide the next number one contenders for, going against the Usos, right?
Right.
Well, so Banger Brothers end up getting injured by the Viking Raiders and knock them out of the match.
Mind you,
at least for the night.
Mind you, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre are the only face tag team left in this whole tournament. The other three are heels. Between Hit Row, the Imperium, and Legado del Fantasma.
So Adam Pearce comes out and says, well, we can't have somebody just automatically go to the finals. And then he injects a new team, a makeshift team that kind of has had a match or two and has them go, who did they go against?
They went up against the Hit Row.
They go against Hit Row, and they beat them.
My biggest issue was just like you said. They took the only face tag team out of the tournament.
I mean,
you
you
were
could
taken out by a team who was pissed off because they lost to them the week before. Fine. Why are you injecting a makeshift tag team, and the only reason that this makeshift tag team is a team was because Braun Strowman went out there and basically disrespected people like Ricochet, and now Braun Strowman and Ricochet are a tag team, and they're going to be in the finals against, spoiler alert, Imperium for the tag team titles #1 contenders.
But you know, specifically for this, like, oh, we can't have anybody just get catapulted to the finals. It's like, well, that other team had a match last week and they won. Now you're putting in a team who's done nothing to earn this into the situation. I go back to WrestleMania 4. Ted DiBiase, you know, ended up only wrestling 2 matches. Poor Macho Man had to do 4.
Well, to be fair, Jay, cream always rises to the top. Yeah.
But, like, they let DiBiase cheat it forward.
But Jay,
Why not? I mean,
Jay,
he beat Hacksaw Jim Duggan with a suplex.
Jay, we can sit here and do all this stuff all the time. I mean, why is it that they have to strip Naomi of the SmackDown Women's Championship after 31 days, but Brock Lesnar could go to Canada with the WWE title and never be seen again? Why is it that there's double standards all the time in professional wrestling?
But specifically for this, it was terrible. If you just want to get rid of the Banger Brothers name, you know, just take the name off them. You don't need to get them out of it. Now, maybe this leads to something tonight where all 4 of them are in the match and they just beat the holy hell out of each other.
Hold on. What if this was a way to get Ricochet, or to get Sheamus and McIntyre out of the tournament, but still have them in the Royal Rumble tonight, because they're both going to be in the Rumble tonight anyway, and then you could take possibly Strowman and Ricochet, because you know neither one of them is going to win. Take them out of the Royal Rumble, you open up 2 spots. There's your Steve Austin and your Rock spots.
Possibly. I mean, that could work. But just the whole idea of it was just stupid.
Right, I agree. It would have got my breathless this week, but you know.
Right.
Extenuating circumstances.
And we had another LA Knight Bray Wyatt promo. I mean, strong stuff, but no new ground. I mean, what they needed to do to, you know, whether it's sell tickets or what have you, happened on Monday.
Yeah.
So this was just like another thing for them to do. So, anyway.
I enjoyed him coming out as vintage Bray Wyatt.
So
But that's about it from that.
So there are a couple of other little news things I want to get to before we get to our predictions.
Okay.
So the word coming out now, Stephanie McMahon resigned because she was about to be demoted.
Huh.
So she was like going, you know what? I've been holding this company afloat because you couldn't keep your dick in your pants and you were screwing around on Mom. Go fuck yourself. I'm going home.
I'm going to have ankle surgery too.
So there's that. VP of International, Matthew Drew, is leaving WWE. He has not been there for very long. He was there since June of 2021. His whole job was specifically to help build the brand globally. So,
no relation to JD, by the way.
Right. But Matthew Drew here, like, you know, you just see this. This is like many signs that companies being sold and or downsizing, or maybe this dude was told like, well, we're either going to cut you or you could resign.
Probably.
So, I mean, they did the office cuts last week. Maybe this is just one of them. So, there's that. And my last bit of notes, and I'm putting this high up on one of the good things that happened. We got to see Mark Briscoe on AEW television, and they got to do it right. Tony Khan, thankfully, just kept pushing back at Warner Brothers and said, we need to do this.
What was their problem to begin with?
They didn't like the fact that Jay Briscoe years ago went on Twitter and posted some homophobic tweets
in character.
and he was like, I did that in character because I'm a white trash dude from the South and all that
like,
stuff.
And everyone who's
No one said that he's
no one is like seriously. If people were saying shit like, "Oh my god, he's a piece of shit" and stuff, I get it.
Yeah.
No one has ever said that about him.
And beyond that, they also said that they were hesitant with Mark Briscoe because for a long time the Briscoes wore a Confederate flag as part of their
Yeah.
Warner has a problem with the Briscoe brothers, but yet Dana White, who has beaten his wife, has the show on there where the dudes slap each other and give themselves CTE every time that episode is on there. But let's not have the Briscoes on, Mark Briscoe out there to celebrate his brother.
All that being said, Mark Briscoe is now free to go on AEW TV whenever they would like him to.
Okay.
So
And
that
you
was
know
a
what?
good thing that they've
I'm
done.
glad they're doing
And you
that.
know what? He came out with that hot, such energy. Came out with, I'm sure he, he's grieved enough. I'm sure he's like, okay, I'm done crying. I'm done being sad. Time to go make my brother proud.
Him and Lethal had an awesome match.
Lethal looked like he was going to explode.
I really thought so.
like,
I'm glad to see. I mean, they were all like, you saw them all up at the ramp. They all looked like they were gonna just cry.
yeah,
They were all in.
Yeah.
they were all in.
Double or nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we I think we covered most all that stuff. So let's get into the Royal Rumble. There are actually only the men's match, the women's match. There are 5 matches
Wow. Sounds about right.
combined.
Now, when we do the Royal Rumble predictions, guys, I want your pick and I want your dark horse.
Okay.
Since we've already
I may
covered it.
barter myself.
That's
I
fine.
might
but
have.
since we've already
five.
talked about our
wait,
surprises and everything, I think we can just stick to a winner and a dark horse. So
Okay.
I say for the first match, we go with the Pitch Black match. Is it Bray Wyatt or is it going to be LA Knight?
I don't even know what this match is.
Nobody knows what this match is.
I can't even predict the match. I don't even know what
So
it is.
I mean, this is Bray's first match back, unless Uncle, as you like to call
Uncle
Uncle Lousy gets involved. If Uncle Howdy gets involved, LA Knight could win. Bray should win this match. If nothing else, this is put the spotlight on LA Knight for being the talker that he is and trying to get our catchphrase,
Yeah!
over to a large audience. So I'm going with Bray Wyatt, though.
Chris Brown says he's going with Bray Wyatt as well. I know that a lot of people are saying that they could see LA Knight win this match. I don't see Bray Wyatt losing in his first match on television since his return.
Yeah.
LA Knight's there to make him look good.
Yeah!
Yeah.
But I think more people, we're going to see more, I think we're going to get a better understanding of the whole Bray Wyatt, what the fuck they're going to do.
Hey, I mean, and more members of the new Wyatt family
Exactly.
can show up.
Hell, we could still see Captain
Wedgie! Maybe.
What did I say if I still have to do something if Curtis Axel? I will post something on Facebook and social media if Curtis Axel and tell you what I'll do if Curtis Axel shows up tonight and wrestles in the Rumble.
All right.
Or if he gets, 2015 again.
El Jefe, Bray or L.A. Knight?
Well, I think the logic is simple because this is Bray's first television match back. They want to do something big with him, and obviously they're doing a gimmick match which is sponsored. So,
Doesn't make me want to drink.
Do they end up in a pool of pitch black Mountain Dew?
it lit 12-year-old me's dream. That was sweet. But, yeah, it's going to be Bray Wyatt tonight. And, LA Knight, like you said, I think his time's going to come in Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
All right. Women's championship match, Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair going against Alexa Bliss.
I am going to go with Alexa Bliss.
I agree, and I think it's going to be a Wyatt family
Yep, that is why.
thing.
This is going to be very.
It's going to be gimmick.
Start of a new Wyatt family, and I'm with you, Alexa Bliss. Bianca's been a fantastic champion.
She's so good.
She is female John Cena.
talents. So there's going to be some chicanery and shenanigans to get the belt off.
Bo Dallas is going to help Alexa Bliss win the title.
And she may need some time off to shoot the reality show with her husband.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, they're doing a thing for Hulu.
Oh,
It'll be
very
on
nice.
next to the Bear.
I will say this: of all my predictions for tonight, that's the one that if I'm wrong, I'll still be happy. Because I enjoy
Nothing
Bianca.
wrong with Bianca as champion. She's been great.
Phenomenal role model for
Yeah.
girls out there. So
Yeah, Tim thinks Bray and Uncle Howdy help out. All right.
Alexa or Bianca?
I said Alexa.
Alexa. Okay.
Yeah.
Clean sweep. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And shit, man.
Yeah.
All right, we have Captain Cupcake, the Cupcake Eater of Worlds, going against the big dog, the head of the table, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, the undefeated
Dirt.
Ethan Marks, wettest hair of the year for 7 straight years,
Only-
working on number 8. The only time he would possibly lose is if he shaves his head.
Or if Seth Rollins goes more grease.
Yeah, it's usually a pretty tight competition, but he still has.
This was the closest that he lost this year. By the way.
Yeah.
If Seth didn't dye his hair blonde, he would have won.
Right. I'm going with Roman. I don't think that's any surprise. Roman, Kevin Owens is so good at what he does. There's going to be a moment you're going to think he's going to win, just like the time when they had the last man standing match, and actually Kevin Owens did win. But they gimmicked it so it looked like Roman got up before the 10 count, but like there was something jacked up that happened, I think,
Because
with the
they fucked up the
handcuffs.
handcuffs.
Yeah.
Because they put it in the wrong spot, so they had a hard time getting the key. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Owens did it on purpose.
We got Chris Brown saying he thinks the Cupcake Eater of Worlds is going to win the championship.
Oh, God, please.
So this is just for one of the belts, right?
No, it's for both.
It's for both.
Yeah, it's
The
for both.
Usos are the only ones that are going to be
Oh, okay.
trying to actually physically separate.
Yeah, I just don't see them taking championship off Roman
No.
in a not at WrestleMania.
Spoiler alert. Lock of the night. Roman's winning.
Okay.
But we get more clarification.
Stone Cold!
And now we're going to get the turning point of the Bloodline Sami Zayn storyline tonight
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, because we're going to be on the road to WrestleMania and going through the fast lane and the elimination chamber and all that jazz.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Women's Royal Rumble. Give me a winner and give me your dark horse, Cousin Jay.
I'm going to go with my winner is Rhea Ripley. My dark horse is Trish the Dish status because she wouldn't mind having, I think, another match with Charlotte and having it on the grandest stage of them all.
Okay.
Or having a match against
Alexa
The
Bliss.
Man or Alexa Bliss. Or even if she ends up against Bianca Belair.
You do a hell of a thing for Bianca's career.
So,
I'm in agreement with Jay on the Rhea thing. I talked to her a few months ago, and she was waiting for her next opportunity, and I think that next opportunity is now. She could be the leader of the Spooky Pals,
Ooh, keep that.
and she could have a title on her at WrestleMania. And I think that would be very, very beneficial for her and for really just moving forward, because I think people are fucking tired of Charlotte Flair.
So Chris Brown has winner is Lacey Evans, dark horse is Asuka.
My
Tim-
dark horse. Forgot about the dark horse.
Oh, sorry about
No,
that.
you're
That's
good.
okay.
Hey, good.
Ethan. Dark horse.
Bruce Wayne.
Stop it. See,
So Tim has Rhea and Asuka as well.
you know who my dark horse is? It's Brandy Rhodes.
Okay.
If she wins and her husband
That
doesn't
is
win,
that's one hell of a call.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys though. It's Rhea Ripley. I think it's her time. I agree.
and then she's going to be in the men's rumble match, taking Dom's place,
Like Becky did to what was her face?
And then Adam Edge will come in.
and then the time Nia beat up R-Truth
Oh God. Yeah.
in the rumble match.
And then for me,
Do we see Nia Jax tonight?
I hope not. I'll break my TV.
She's not like most
I will
girls.
Gatsby my TV tonight if he shows up.
Yeah. So all
My
right.
dark horse. Fuck it. Give me a Lunger Blaze.
Okay.
Give me her versus Charlotte. at
Medusa.
WrestleMania. Medusa.
She gonna run people over with her monster truck or something?
I think that would be great.
I think
If
that
she
would-
came out in WrestleMania with her monster truck,
That'd be like the Hulk Hogan Big Slow match on top of the building.
right?
Where Hulk Hogan died.
And
Or, died.
lastly, the Men's Royal Rumble.
I'm going with Cody to win it, and my dark horse is The Rock. And I'm just if I knew The Rock was going to be in it, I'd put him as at the top. But because it's unsure if he's going to be in there, but I'm going with The Rock.
Okay.
If you smell. Oh,
Yes.
my
Okay.
turn?
Yes.
Okay. Sami Zayn is going to be the winner
Okay.
to set up it's just inevitable. He's going to be the winner of this match.
Mhm.
He's going to set up the title shot at WrestleMania, and then the Bloodline's going to split up because, Jey Uso's in his corner, Solo's in... Which, by the way, Solo, I know he's their brother, but he's almost like a triplet. Because sometimes, I don't know who is who ever.
Right,
But the funny thing about the Usos, they're fraternal twins. They're not even identical.
right. And they look
And they
like
look exactly.
Yeah.
They all look exactly like Rikishi except skinny.
But it's
So
But it's funny because I've actually come to the
I wonder if
realization-
their mother looks like Rikishi too.
The
Yeah.
thing I've noticed now is that Jimmy has that bright
Huh.
smile. That's how you can tell. I tell him apart now. It's a smile.
okay, good to know.
Dark horse.
My dark horse. Oh my god! Like you can go anywhere with this, but the rumor came out for a reason. I think it's gonna be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
If that rumor ends up, if I hear the glass shatter, he better be fucking winning that match.
Right.
Fair.
So, just chiming in here, Chris Brown said Lacey Evans winning Dark Horse Asuka.
Yep.
Lacey Evans is interesting. Anyway,
For me, this is Cody's year. I think this is his moment. He's going to win the Royal Rumble. He's going to go on to main event WrestleMania, and we're going to finally have Cody Rhodes' moment where he should,
the boyhood dream.
Yes, this boyhood dream is going to happen for him. I would have said Sami Zayn. I was hell-bent on Sami Zayn. I actually had my Sami Zayn shirt in my car. I was going to rip it off, but then I saw about the Saudi Arabia and Sami Zayn fucking winning. I was like, I got to go with Cody Rhodes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My dark horse, Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Because nobody would see it coming. Everybody keeps
Yeah,
talking
well,
about.
it's going to be pitch black.
Everybody's going to talk about Cody Rhodes. Everybody's going to be talking about if The Rock is there and all that stuff.
Or John Cena.
Nobody's saying a word about Bray Wyatt. And just remember, when Bray lost the title last, he dropped to the Roman Reigns. Never got his rematch.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. I think we hit everything.
Yeah, do you want
Yeah.
to zip through good, bad, and brainless? real
Yeah.
quick?
Let's
let's
go.
do it. All right, what do you guys got for your good this week?
Mark Briscoe, and just that match, and just the aura of it, and knowing that he's going to be okay going forward.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a great singles competitor for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal was my good for this week.
Okay.
I really like that. I really like the segment with The Undertaker and LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. But I have to go with the thing that I marked out for the most this week. Hulk Hogan running out of toilet paper.
I'm going with the torch passing situation between Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker. Everybody knows how The Undertaker feels about Bray. I thought it was a great moment, and I'm happy for both of them.
Yeah.
So what do you guys got for bad?
It's pretty funny. Like this past week, it really hasn't. It was a damn good week of wrestling, right?
It was
I
very
mean,
much
like,
that.
dude, you got the AEW show, which was fantastic. You had the Raw 30, which was fantastic, and
Yeah.
it's just so hard to think of a bad for this week, and I just don't think I
So,
can.
you know what?
You can
I-
forego that. That's your title.
I'm going with the Bella Twins this week and having their little bitch and wine fest about not being on Monday Night Raw. I know, hey, they were promoted, and that's bad on WWE for promoting them and not putting them on the show.
Yeah.
But, like, come on.
Plans change.
Stuff happens. Don't cry about it.
Yeah,
Be happy they invited you. They gave you a career.
they really did.
My bad is going to go to Lacey Evans.
I was thinking about her too.
Lacey Evans, on her way to the ring last night, she's playing this new heel gimmick or face.
Her 50th different gimmick.
She turns more than the Big Show.
She was going down to the ring, and she went to go slap five with a fan, and she pulled it away. Come to find out that the fan that she did that to is mentally challenged.
Ha! Sorry.
So people have
Of course
been
she
killing
did that.
him, and now I'm like, oh my lord, this woman. I'm like, I want to defend her, I really do. I really want to try as hard as I can to defend her, but I can't. So
That's as heel as you
that's-
can get
that's-
right there.
That's worse.
I mean, that is
anything
not-
Bailey could ever do.
and they're like, even if
That's
they're
not
like,
big
even if
boss
they-
man level.
No, nobody's big boss man level either. But yeah, Lacey Evans gets my bad for this
I
week.
mean, yeah.
What do y'all got for your brainless?
I mean, I'm gonna go with what Jay's good was. It was Hulk Hogan running out of toilet.
It's weird where you have a week where like it could be the good and the brainless, but it fits both.
It really does.
It's more common than a bad and a brainless, but hey,
Right.
anything can happen in the WWE.
So for me, I'm going with the booking of the segment with Braun Strowman, Ricochet, and Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. Like it makes zero sense. What the hell was done? Like, come on, bro. You could come up with something better than that. That was just stupid. let them get the bye. Let them do that. But I mean, they screwed up somewhere, somehow about something. And as much as you're saying there's like one face tag team left, and now they have a makeshift face tag team. What the hell?
That was thrown together for stupid reasons.
Yeah.
And my brandless goes to the Bella Twins. If you guys were bigger stars than what you really think that you are, this would be a bigger deal. And the fact is, you're upset about them bringing you up to Philadelphia. Newsflash, you're all from Philadelphia. So it's not like they really took you out of your way and like from California and Florida and they put you somewhere like in Maine or Canada. They brought you to your hometown.
Aren't they from?
Yeah, they're from Philadelphia.
I had no idea. I thought they were from Arizona.
Huge.
Yeah, they live in Arizona.
Yeah, they live in Arizona, but they're originally from Philadelphia. They're both Eagles fans, so I hope they lose for the Utes tomorrow too. But the Bella Twins get my brothers for this week. So if you like what you've seen from the F and Marks, it's the letter T, the letter H, the letter E, the letter F, the letter N, MARKS, and you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. And if you like, follow, and subscribe to us on all those, we will do the same back. That's been our
mantra. And make sure you set up notifications on our page so that when we go live, you will know that we are going live, and you can join in on the conversation for the sport that we all love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Thank you for El Jefe for hosting.
Well, no, thank you guys. You helped move all the shit in here. I mean, like,
It's all good.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, dude,
I
like,
mean, they did all the moving. I just kind of sat back
I
and
mean,
supervised. Dude. It's
it was
fine.
mainly Jay and Matt.
hey, hey, listen. I moved a
everything.
pillow, okay, and I did put an air conditioner in the window, so
I did too.
Yeah.
I put two
Sorry,
And,
eggs
sorry,
out the
and
window.
they haven't fallen out.
and
Yeah, so we're good on that, man. And then, you know, I brought a lot of small stuff over here yesterday.
Man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought my knees were going to bother me more today, but I took some drugs beforehand. So we're good.
I think that's it. I think that's everything. And
Yeah. Yeah.
well, hold on.
Wait.
There's one more thing.
Wait.
I don't have an exact number, but I will say this because the 8-year anniversary was this past Wednesday, and the number itself is 2,924 days. But also, 8 years and 3 days ago, after Mark's Hall of Famer Curtis Axel, still alive in that 2015 Royal Rumble, people. And if it happens again tonight, man, the goodbye is going to be like 20 minutes later. So for episode 297 of everyone's favorite wrestling podcast, the F and Marks,
I'm Jay, and he is.
I am the brainless one.
And I'm El Jefe.
F and Marks Hall of Famer.
Thank you.
Make sure you mark out.
With your guac out. Enjoy the Rumble, everybody.
Go to the Rumble,
We
best
will
night of the year.
chat about
Great
it
wrestling.
next week, and we will see you